If you compare other countries, America is considered more free for practicing our own.
ಹಾಯ್ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಭಾವಿಸ್ತಾ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರನ್ನ ನಿಮಗಾಗಿ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಚಾನೆಲ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ಅತಿಥಿಗಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಬ್ಬರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒಬ್ಬರು ನಮ್ಮ ಶ್ರೀ 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 ಸುಗುಣೇಂದ್ರ ತೀರ್ಥ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿ ಅವರು ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಸೆನೇಟರ್ ಅವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಷಿಂಗ್ಟನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟಿಂದ ಬಾತೆಲಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಇಬ್ರಿಗೂ ನನ್ನ ಶೋಗೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. The first question I have, I'll probably pick our Swamiji's brain after this, but the first question to you is, how do you feel about all the Indians who are settled in the US? How do you feel about them trying to preserve our culture and bring it all the way from India, try to practice it here, that too very peacefully, without without trying to influence anybody, but just trying to preserve it and follow it within ourselves? Like, how do you feel about that? ಸೊ ನಾನೇನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದರೆ, ನಾವು ಇಂಡಿಯಾಯಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ ಅಮೇರಿಕಾಗೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ನ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ನಮ್ಮತನನ ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಬೇಗ ಕಳೆದೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೋದಲ್ವ, ಬಟ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲಿನ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಅದನ್ನು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳೋಣ. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಅವರ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು USA ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಡು ಯು ಮೈಂಡ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್?
So to answer your question, I think it's wonderful. I think that this is an opportunity for people here to learn about other cultures. And I think it's great for immigrants to preserve their cultures and to continue those things, because that's part of how we build community. And building community is so important. That's how we work together. We first have to feel that we are together in a community. And so that's why I'm very supportive of celebrations like the Diwali celebrations that we've been having just recently. Bringing that out to the public and welcoming everyone in, I think that's a great way to build community and to share wonderful cultural connections. And I think that's part of how people adjust and adapt and get to know each other, and that makes our community stronger.
I'm really glad that you spoke about our Indian festival Diwali, also called as Deepavali in Karnataka. So that really feels that you're close to us, you understand what's happening in our community. And thanks for extending your support. Ivaga I'll also try to ask our Swamiji, how does he feel about getting this kind of support, and how did he even establish coming here, right? So
first of all, I appreciate the culture here in America. That America is the free country to practice their own cultures and their own heritage, and America is not going against for any culture, and they are supporting all. So we can see the temples, mosques and churches, everything, and everyone is living together here. So I appreciate that. That is the message of Gita. Krishna says what's yatechasita, because that means one should have the liberty for practicing his own culture and religion. So we see that is in America. But our people, they should realize there the importance of preserving their culture. Each one should have his own identity, and each one should know how to live with others. That is the opportunity we can see here, and that is why we should live like bee is collecting from all flowers and making its own honey. So we can collect good things from everywhere, and we can preserve our culture with our own identity. That is why without losing our identity, we should be with other people. We are trying in the US to preserve our culture in this atmosphere. For how extent we can preserve that, and how we can practice our culture without harming other people. That is the main motto of our activities here. So we have established 10 centers here where we are teaching people how to live with other people and how to preserve our own culture and greatness of our culture and respecting all individuals, how to do that. I'm very glad to notice the freedom of culture and everything is here. If you compare other countries, America is considered more free for practicing our own culture. That is why I like America, and also I like India. And India has the background of the culture, and America is the atmosphere for growth. That is why I am balancing all these two things and teaching the same.
So definitely, I think for people like us to be able to come here, survive, practice what we like, believe in what we believe, I think we need two sets of people, right? One who will allow us and one who will enable us. So I think this is the right combination, and a heartfelt thanks from all the people in Karnataka and all the Indian community in the US for both of you for being the enablers and for supporting it. This really means a lot. We start our day with some of our beliefs, and you allow us to do that here, right? So that is really, really good, and thanks for that. Another question to you. Does the Constitution believe in God? We see it on the currency, like we see it, but how do they think about God? And God to different people means different, but like how do they think?
So that's a great question. We try to be, I think, very neutral. And yet you do see the evidence that we have things about God on our money, in many documents. In the legislature, we open with a prayer, and we invite people from many different faith traditions to present that prayer, and we try to make sure that we're being very inclusive of everyone. I think this is something that goes back to the beginning of the country, that we have a shared belief that we can all live together as a community, regardless of our religion or faith tradition, or people who have no faith tradition. We all have to be able to live and work together. And we can do that if we have respect, and if we also make sure that we have boundaries, so that we don't get into that when we're passing laws, that we just leave it open for people to make their own choices. And to me, I see it as a personal responsibility. Everyone has the freedom to make their own choice about their religion. And I think that's something that we have to protect. I think that's a very core American value, to say that we must protect that freedom to make our own choices. And in doing so, that means we need to respect all of these different faith traditions that are in our country. And that goes all the way back to the Constitution, as you point out. So I think it's very fundamental.
Yeah. Thank you for this great answer. I think with all the violence happening, right, with it could be Indians or it could be any other immigrants, knowing how the Constitution thinks about God or our beliefs also makes me feel like, okay, we will be protected, and these violence might stop someday, for whatsoever reason they're happening. But knowing what you think about it is really, really, it's helpful, and I think this message will be taken by everybody. Thank you for that. And how did you finally like the interaction with our Swamiji? Like, how did you find any value in it? Like, what do you think about it?
Oh, absolutely, it's valuable. I feel very honored to be here, and I think that faith leaders provide something incredibly valuable in society in helping people to find a way forward and helping people to grapple with the difficulties that are inherent in life, and finding a path toward being happier, toward being constructive, and helping other people. And I think that's always and such an important message, and important to return to again and again, to remind ourselves and find ways forward. And there may be different messages that work for different people, but that's really the commonality, is getting back to that notion that we can find ways forward, we can find optimism and hope for the future, and make good decisions that will be constructive and lead to a better life for the future.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಕೊನೆಯದಾಗಿ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿ, ನೀವು ಏನು ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀರಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿನ ಸೆನೇಟರ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಏನು ಅವರಿಗೆ? So I'm asking our respected Swamiji to tell a few words about what you said so far, like your support and your involvement in this, and how does he feel about being supported?
I'm very glad to notice the Constitution is here in America, and you explained that. I'm very glad to see the declaration in all bills, "In God we trust." So I'm very glad to see that this is the land of God followers, and at the same time, this country has given the freedom for atheists also. So officially we declare God, we believe in God, but in practice we are giving the opportunity for atheists also. That is the combination of two thinkings. We should not force any person, and we should not allow to force ourselves also. That is the balance is maintained here, like in India. That is why I like America for the policies here and for the opportunities here. So I am very glad to meet the senator today, and he is very pro-listening. So in our culture, what they say, first of all, one should listen what other person is telling, and one should digest that, and one should be receiving everything from other people. So I'm very glad to see that, being a political person, and he is also a seeker, and just grabbing the power is not the goal of the political people. They should find the reality and how they should be researching how to be developed, and they should be ready to receive from all people. That is Hindu culture.
Thank you, Senator, once again. Thank you, Swamiji.